Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video in the beginner series. So this time, instead of attachments, because that's going to take a longer video, I'm going to go over a couple of shorter ones, shorter videos with the minor stuff to talk about. So ammo-wise, I'm just going to tell you what's like the most expensive to run. 5.56, like because everybody runs M4s, because it's like the meta game gun in the game. These are super expensive. Followed very closely by 7.62, followed closely by the 12.7 for the sniper rifles, followed by uh, probably 9 mil, and then shotgun. Shotgun may be the cheapest. Well, it's not, but it is, even though it doesn't look it, because you don't need as many rounds, right? It only takes like 2 bullets. So to down somebody, so like 800 versus like 9 mils cheaper, but you're probably going to require like 4 or 5 bullets. So kind of not really. And that's if you don't miss a bunch. So yeah, that's basically it for ammo. Med-wise, bandages are the most basic. You can find these in Raid. They're kind of garbo. No serious player runs bandages. It's basically for budget warriors, nakeds, and I guess really, really poor people. If you have nothing else, you can get bandages. Otherwise, everybody runs first aid kits. These are your standard med kits. They heal a lot, but take a long time to apply. Then you have the regen agents, and these are great. Like most of the time, I'll run 2 to 3 regens and like 1 to 2 first aids as a standard for any budget kit. Now, if I'm running T5, like a expensive kit, I'll run 5 regens and probably 3 to 4 first aids, because some people hit you with deep and it takes a lot more meds to heal up than normal. Then you have like temporary HP guys, and the painkiller is your most basic one. It gives you a small buffer HP immediately. It's quick to apply. It's faster than using like a first aid kit. So if you're in the heat of combat, you can pop a painkiller, or more preferably an aesthetic, because this basically puts you back at full life temporarily, and then it slowly drains. So if you're running out in the open and somebody tags you really hard, but you manage to get behind cover, but then he starts pushing you because he knows you're weak and you don't have time to first aid, you pop one of these, and then you can actually fight him with a decent amount of HP without, having to engage him at like a partial amount of HP, because you don't have time to throw a first aid kit on or even use a regen. So a lot of the time you'll just pop one of these, and then if you still have a little bit extra time, you'll hit a regen, and then you'll fight. Or if you think you have enough time, you'll use a first aid. But this is like for emergencies. They're relatively cheap though, so you could run these every time. They're like 60. You can find them in Raid all over the place. I used to run like 2 of them every kit. But when you play stealthy, you don't need these as much. So then you have the cardiacs. These are basically sell items. These have very little uses because the overload is better. This does the same effect as the cardiac, but it also gives you extra firearm damage reduction. I think it does it last longer too. No, this does last longer for run speed and stuff, but these are like half as expensive. The downside to these is they drain your HP slowly. So what you normally do is you'll hit one of these and then you'll pop a regen immediately after, and that keeps your HP pretty much topped off. And then you have firearm, you have damage reduction, and you have speed. So a lot of times I just run these because they're half as expensive as these, and then I'll bring these back and sell them. And the funny thing is it requires these to create these, but it makes no sense because these are 2 times as expensive as these. So you figure that out. I just sell these. I don't use these unless I'm dropping things off at my mail and I just want to run fast and I don't want my HP to drain in case someone shoots me in the back. But that's another video. When we go over like how to organize your inventory, I'll go over that. And then sedatives. These got really expensive. These used to be cheap and easy to find, and you could run a bunch of these. And then I guess people figured out how good they are, because what they do is they reduce your crosshair sway. They also increase your hearing range. So these are awesome for just like you can hear further, and you get like basically recoil reduction. So it's pretty sweet. But they do sell for a bunch, so if you find them in raid, pick them up, because you can bring them out here and sell them for more than a lot of even the crafting materials. And then you have your grenades. And grenades are super useful. I'll just give you a brief overview of them. Stun grenades kind of suck, to be honest. I guess if you're playing fast and you're going to rely mostly on sight, like you know where they are and they know where you are, you can throw a stun grenade. Odds are, like, these have a super long radius, so unless you throw them really far away, they hit you also, so you're going to be deaf also. And you can use that to your advantage in a couple different situations, but otherwise I don't really use these a whole lot, just because it 9 times out of 10 it deafens you as well. If they didn't deafen you as well and it only deafened your opponent, these would be super awesome. But because it deafens you also a lot of the time, especially in buildings, I don't like them. Smokes are amazing. I'll run these all of the time, always. Every time you're going to loot or whatever, throw down a smoke. Especially if using anti-rad, because then they can't see you at all. So anti-rad and smokes or miasmas is a really good combo. Miasmas are poison grenades, so they basically do the same thing as smoke, except they're poison. So if you go into them, it weakens you, and no, it doesn't drain your... I think it does drain your health a little bit. Yeah, you lose 1 HP per second. It won't cause death, but it does increase the amount of damage that people take, and it makes you slower. But in order to go into this yourself, you need the head mod attachment for the gas mask, which we went over in helmets. So you can use these as a substitute to these. They're going to be more expensive. Smoke grenades you can get in the exchange, and miasma you can't. So, yeah. But anyways, back to these. These are your standard grenades. You can hold down the button to cook it and throw it. That gives them less time to run away from it. But it is risky because they could always push you while you're cooking a grenade. So it sucks. Flashbangs sound awesome in theory, suck in execution. Like, I feel like they don't work a lot of the time in this game. Not the way that they should. It hardly deafens them, unlike the stun grenades, which deafens both of you. And then it doesn't deafen at all. Okay, yeah, that's why I was like, these are supposed to deafen, like, a little bit. That's what they're designed to do in real life. But I guess this just blinds you, but it feels like it never works. I've got it to work effectively like 1 or 2 times. But most of the time when I throw these at people, their only real use is flushing people out, because they don't know what kind of grenade you throw. They just get a little indicator that there's a grenade by them. So a lot of times when you throw it at them, they'll just run away. So if you're trying to flush somebody out of cover or something, you can throw these, but like 9 times out of 10, the blinding effect doesn't work. All that it has to do is be like slightly behind them, and it doesn't work at all. It's really hard to use. I don't use these very much. But if you happen to find one and you have nothing else and you need to flush somebody, chunk it at him. Maybe you'll get lucky and flash him, but I feel like they don't work very well. Footsteps grenades, these can be really helpful for baiting people, because if somebody like hears you and then they focus in on where you are, you can kind of distract them if you throw footstep grenades to other areas around you, and they may like look, and when they look, you can push them and fuck them up. So footstep grenades are half decent, but I don't like run them. I'll pick them up and use them in raid, because you can find these everywhere. Same thing with gunshot decoys. There are strategies, like if you're doing like the bitch mode series, you're going sniping, you can lure people. These sound pretty realistic, like a realistic firefight now. They used to be pretty lame and you could tell it was a gunshot decoy, but now it sounds like somebody is having a firefight exchange. So you can chunk these and try to lure players to it, because a lot of people will run towards gunfire, not away. So gunshot decoys, I mean, these can be pretty awesome. Molotovs are really good, because wherever they hit, they immediately detonate and cover the area in fire. The downside is it's negated by anti-rad, which is becoming a lot more popular, I think, especially thanks to me. So, because I run anti-rad 90% of the time now, because it's awesome. Because anti-rad will negate this, and it'll negate these. These radars are the things that you can throw. You can throw them and attach them to a wall, and it gives you a radius for a short period of time. And anybody who walks into that radius, it will light them up, and you can see them through walls and stuff for a duration even after they leave the grenade range. So they're super useful, and they're highly used in team matches. They're not as used in solos, but people will use them. But they're also counterable with anti-rad. So, once again, anti-rad is super good. Then you have combat items. These are repair kits for your armor. And you have to have specific ones for specific armor levels. So these ones here are the lowest ones. And there's one for helmets and one for armor. This will heal up to level 3 armor, so level 1, 2, and 3 armor, which why would you ever use these if you're running level 1 and 2 armor? I have no idea. But I guess if you're running a decent level 3 armor, most people don't run these. I wouldn't bother running them unless I was running... I used to run them when I ran heavy T4s or T5s. That's probably the only time that they're really worth it, because look at the price on them. Not a lot of people make these, and you can't buy them otherwise. They have to be crafted by players, and you can't find them in Raid. At least I haven't. And they will repair your armor in Raid. So that's the only way you can repair your armor in Raid. But a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll either ditch their armor if it breaks, or they'll put on somebody else's armor, or they'll and safe their own, you know. So these don't get used a whole lot. But like back before there was a lot of cheaters, you could run really good armor, like gold T5s, and these were way more useful. But nowadays there's so many cheaters, nobody wants to run good armor, so these rarely get used. And then you have the last thing. This is the others. Here's the cast iron keys. These open the blue boxes inside the raids. These are highly worth it at 9,000 or 10,000 per set of keys, because you usually get a blue item that's worth 3 to 5k out of them, or rare ammo. Like, these are just worth it. It's nice to carry keys if you're going to be casual looting and opening boxes. So these are worth it if you're going for money making, especially when you can get them this cheap. You can buy these also at the exchange, so don't pay more than 12 for these, because some people will buy these and then look, put them up for like 15 or whatever. You can buy them from the exchange for 12. So there they are. But if you can get them on the auction house, always check the auction house first, because a lot of people will steal them from other players, or they'll get them from events and stuff, and they'll sell them for less than what they sell for on the exchange, obviously. So you can get them cheaper here. Then you have the orange and the black cards. So there's an orange door in Shelter and in Red Beach that you can access using these cards. Now, they're one-time use, and they're expensive, and you're not going to get back the amount of loot out of them 9 times out of 10 that the card is worth. So a lot of people won't even really do the orange room, because it's not even worth it. Not for orange or gold, really. And gold opens the same door, but it spawns better loot inside. The loot inside an orange room doesn't spawn until you use the card. So, and then it detects which kind of card you use, and it spawns a loot table based on that card. So, and they're not completely random. They have like a set loadout. There's a couple different ones of them, and very few of them are worth more than the card itself. So a lot of people will use these as a store of value, and they'll hold on to these, but the price has been decreasing a lot recently. And I'm getting a tickle in my throat, so I think I might cough. Alright, we're good. I need to wrap this video up, though, so I can go get some more water. But yeah, that's what these are for. You can't find these in Raid. Some people have said that they've found orange cards from Jackal. I never have. You get these mostly from events, or like if you score on the leaderboards and stuff, they give them away for certain things. So if you look, I think there's like you can get black access cards from like scoring super high on some of the leaderboard sections, or they'll do events where you can get them sometimes. Like sometimes this will be like an orange card, and you know. And that's basically how you get them, other than buying them off the auction house or the buff market. So that's going to be it for this video for consumables. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.